This is a review of the Elite Dangerous expansion Odyssey. I've been playing it on a modest Intel i7-3770K CPU with an NVIDIA 1060 GPU. I know that some people with far superior systems have suffered serious problems with the game, and I genuinely sympathise with them. I can only speak of my own experiences though, and while I've had a few small issues with the game, mostly it's been very well behaved. I'll come back to this subject, but firstly let's discuss what Odyssey actually is. As I see it, Odyssey is simply an extension, a logical extension of the existing game, which in turn is an evolution of what some of us played in the original game back in 1984 on the BBC home microcomputer, the C64 and all the other 8-bit computers, then on through Frontier Elite 2 and First Encounters. You're a space pilot of limited means in the 34th century with a wide amount of choice as to how you make your way through the game. In the original Kickstarter FAQ, we were promised that at some point we would be able to walk around on stations, planets and inside our ships. Odyssey takes a big step, yes I know, to making good on that promise. Unless you are wedded to the belief that Elite is simply a multiplayer ship combat game, SRVs anybody, then furnishing the game with more choices, environments and gameplay by climbing down those steps and getting down and dusty with the local environments and their inhabitants seems like an obvious and sensible expansion of the existing game to me. While Elite Dangerous focused by necessity on ships, Odyssey's most obvious equivalent are the specialist suits that your character can acquire. These are the Marauder suit for scavenging, the Artemis for exobiology, and the Dominator for combat. Like ships, the suits can be modded and engineered to make them far more effective than their initial configuration. The same is true of the large number of weapons that can be purchased. The range of options has actually been very well thought out. A suit can be upgraded from grades 1 to 5, giving you increasing protection and at each stage making available a slot for an engineered item. There are sufficient of these items to give the player the freedom to experiment. For example, different types of combat for different suits. I have what I call a ninja suit, which is actually an Artemis exobiology suit, which allows longer battery life, I think, and a much better jump capability. As for engineered mods, it has improved scanning so I can more easily stay aware of patrolling enemies, quieter footsteps, improved melee combat and night vision. Similarly, I've equipped my ninja profile with a Manticore Executioner sniper rifle with audio masking for silent kills, long range for long range and a larger magazine for an improved rate of fire. The Artemis suit won't allow another primary weapon, so I carry the very capable Manticore Tormentor plasma pistol. After some experimentation, I added both the indoor noise suppression and audio masking. Some would see the latter as a wasted slot given that I have the sniper rifle, but the pistol, while no slouch at medium ranges, is ideal for close encounters, like when you get challenged and scanned by a guard and you need to kill them quickly and quietly. So, you have these cool suits, an arsenal of weapons, and a host of upgrades and mods to enhance them. What's the catch? Well, you're going to be pretty busy collecting the various materials to make all these improvements a reality. as well as the items required to access and befriend the various engineers with their particular skill sets to do the work. Personally, I don't regard that as a catch or a grind. I see it as playing the game. With some exceptions, opinion polls and settlement defence plans, for example, were very difficult items, perhaps impossible items, to acquire in normal play. But those bugs are being or have been fixed. I can understand people that want a particular item that is intentionally scarce, but if you enjoy playing the game, it really shouldn't be a problem. As well as this, there are also new combat zones. I should say these aren't really my thing, although I have quite enjoyed them as a sort of break from what I regard as my particular perception of the real game. In a way, I think this is what has upset a lot of people. We all have our own perceptions about what the game is really about, and I think some people have come to Odyssey expecting Half-Life 2 or Call of Duty, and they're disappointed or outraged that the conventions and sensibilities of those games are different or not represented in Odyssey. I'm going to say they're looking at it wrong. Odyssey is not a multiplayer FPS bolted onto Elite Dangerous. It's Elite Dangerous extended further into Elite Dangerous. It's like when they repaired the lens on the Hubble telescope. You're looking at the same things, but now you're getting a more detailed, higher resolution version, giving you a truer view of the universe, or in Odyssey's case, of the galactic game world. I'm not against people who view Elite as simply a space-based combat game, but as an unashamed immersionist, Odyssey was exactly the right move, and Ship Interiors, with the required gameplay, is in my view the next one. Let's look at the missions in detail. Available from the mission board at any particular time are up to 75 missions that fall into the following categories: transport, salvage, support, combat, operations and procurement. But there are plenty of variations in these categories. So salvage might mean retrieval from a crash or impact site, or scavenge from a disused settlement which may or may not have hostile scavengers who will not want to share their bounty with you. Similarly, a support mission where you are given level 3 access and a power regulator to bring an abandoned settlement back to life may include a hostile reception when you get there. Procurement missions include theft, digital espionage and larceny, and heists. Operations involve shutdowns, digital infiltrations and sabotage. In combat missions you have raids, massacres, assassinations, takedowns and settlement raids. Add to this that some of the missions are legal, some not, some are covert, requiring stealth tactics. Some missions will fail if violence is used, and some clean-ops fail if anybody other than your target is killed. It makes sense, of course, to see what the payment for the mission is, and in the case of materials, as well as those items you liberate in the course of your work, you will acquire the items you need to upgrade your gear. But you aren't limited to undertaking missions for other people. You can, if you wish, go freelance and simply land at a settlement, abandoned or otherwise, and choose your own objectives in the pursuit of wealth, materials, or mayhem. Let's look at a few specific missions. This mission is an assassination job. I have to locate the individual, one Gia Carpenter, and kill them. Now the improved sensors are particularly useful here. Once someone scans, they're remembered and I can see where they are on my scanner at any point. Nope. And there's Jer. And he seems to be fairly well isolated from the other guards. So if I just snuggle up next to this trunking out of sight, And a quick kill. Sorry, Jer.
Mission status updated.
And off I go. This mission is a standard settlement raid where I have to kill the scavengers. I approach fairly cautiously in the SRV Scarab vehicle. And then go the rest of the way on foot, looking about me carefully as I go.
Dangerously low temperature detected.
My intention is to take them out one at a time without the others knowing. So I have effectively a silencer on the sniper rifle, or audio masking as it's technically known. That's another down. Okay, this is going quite well, but there's another one who will have seen that body just on the other side of these crates. There he is.
I will end you!
Okay. Now the last guy will have definitely heard that, and there he is. Oops. Oh dear, this one fires back.
Shield activated.
Should have really had my shields on at that point. We have a bit of a sniper duel now. Okay, that's him taken care of.
Mission status updated. Bounty detected.
With the scavengers dead, I can get into a bit of gratuitous cupboard clearance, picking up any handy materials that I may need.
Landing gear retracted.
And then it's off we go. Quite impressive terrain. Okay, this final mission is a theft mission where I have to steal the personal documents. I've got two objectives. The first obviously is to get the documents. The second is a personal objective because they're not it's not an unfriendly base. They're essentially friendly dudes that live here. I don't want to kill anyone. I've included this mission really to show you just how wrong things can sometimes go. No particular need for stealth at this point because it's friendly. But the first thing to do is to check the location on one of the base's computers. So I know it's in the research centre, but I don't have the clearance to be able to see within the research centre. So I'm going to need to up my clearance by cloning someone else's. But once I've cloned someone else's, I'm then at risk of being discovered with a cloned identity clearance. Yeah, that's a 2 clearance to get in there. That one's a 3. I'm just not having much luck finding anybody with a decent security clearance that I can clone. Oh, another 0. As you can tell, this is edited down. I actually spent a long time going around this space trying to find essentially a way in. Until finally I find a lowly 1 security clearance on this guard.
Security profile cloned.
But now, having got that, I have to be very careful not to be scanned. This is where I want to go,
Entering
so I can get in the building.
environment.
But without getting my scavenger suit, I've no way of getting through these Class 2 security doors. But I can get in to the habitation areas. And there's somebody.
Entering restricted area. Security profile cloned.
1 Class 2 security clearance.
Leaving restricted area. Leaving pressurized environment.
This would be simplified if I didn't want, if I had no problem with running around killing everyone. But I don't want to do that.
Entering pressurized environment.
And so now I can see the actual area that I need to get to, and there's the research locker with the combination. Off we go. Thought that might be the alarms, but it wasn't.
You're not supposed to be in here.
How did he see me? Okay, well, no particular problem. Oh dear. Don't shoot, I'm just a friendly maintenance guy.
Take him out!
Come on. Right, let's get this stuff and go. getting out of control.
Reloading!
Stabilized.
Shield down!
So you remember I said my objective was to get the documents and not to kill anyone. Turning into total carnage.
Shield offline. Shield online.
Oh dear. Right, get the stuff. What?
Security profile cloned.
Not only did I massacre everyone, I was at the wrong locker.
Mission status
Okay,
updated.
good. Well, while I'm here, I may as well help myself to a few useful materials.
Downloading data.
Oh, I'll have that as well.
Landing gear retracted.
Smooth.
Anything else? Confirmed. Get to the dropship, soldier.
Soldier? While Odyssey has obviously had some issues, my difficulty of placing emphasis on that point is that I've had very few problems. I've also been virtually addicted to it since the first day of the alpha, and have racked up a huge amount of hours which continue to be very enjoyable. Of course, if you're someone that has experienced repeated crashes or is locked out of the game, it must be immensely frustrating, and I totally sympathise with that. What I don't understand is the toxicity I've seen in some places. I just don't get it. Several patches ago, I was on a planet, and every time I tried to take off, the game crashed. After about half an hour, I called a shuttle, which solved the issue. It hasn't reoccurred. I've had an occasional issue with stuttering frame rates at settlements, usually in a night combat situation, but Frontier are working on it. And actually, I'm running in a higher resolution since the addition of the AMD superscaling option than I ever did in Horizons. And who remembers the stuttering and crashes that some of us suffered from in Horizons, as well as crashes to desktop when approaching certain engineers' bases? One disappointment is the current lack of any specific gameplay as far as exobiology goes. After the loud and perhaps justified outcry on the forums during the alpha, Frontier removed the rather simple and frustrating spin reaction game and replaced it with nothing. I believe they will, but currently they're fully concentrating on addressing the various issues apparently. People have been complaining about those, so it makes sense that they're going to treat it as a priority. Hopefully, like mining, exobiology will eventually blossom into a far more involving experience. So, based on my experiences, based on my experiences, I'm awarding Odyssey an 8.5 out of 10. I've had a few minor issues, and I'm disappointed with the lack of exobiology gameplay. As I think I've made clear, I've been hammering the game since the alpha, and having a blast in the process. Elite has always been more about the journey than the destination, striving to improve your lot, be it a naval energy unit for your Cobra Mark III, or an audio masking modification for your sniping rifle. It's never been about instant gratification, and will seem like grind to those who expect that. For me though, Odyssey has added a huge amount to Horizons. The galaxy I choose to play in is a far richer one than it was as a result of the Odyssey expansion. There are now countless worlds with thin atmospheres and unique features that you can fly over, select a landing spot that catches your eye and explore on foot, or just take in the view, and if you like, access the camera suite and embark on an image safari. Odyssey has some issues, and more so for some than others, but it's exactly the direction I wanted Frontier to go in, enriching the experience and deepening the immersion, and my hope is that it will continue with the promised ship interiors, more landable worlds with complex life forms, oceans, cities, business opportunities, and caves, obviously. And an Amiga version.